Guys, should we be worried about this? FDA cancels meeting to select flu strains for next season's shots. The canceled meeting comes just days after a CDC vaccine advisory committee meeting was abruptly postponed. Federal health officials notified members of the Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee of the cancellation in an email Wednesday afternoon. How is the pharma industry not going crazy in RFK? Because the pharma industry is run by like a handful of oligarchs, and they're insane and hate you and they're evil. It's not like doctors are making the decision. The email, Offit said, offered no explanation for the scrapped meeting. A spokesperson for the DHHS did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Okay. This cancellation comes in the midst of a particularly severe flu season. So far, 86 children and 19,000 adults have died this season. Sheesh. The FDA typically convenes the meeting each spring to get recommendations on which strain should be included in the upcoming flu vaccine. The meetings are important because the flu virus changes year to year and the vaccine must be updated to provide the best protection. Deciding on the strains in the spring gives vaccine manufacturers enough time to produce the shots to be ready for the fall. This could potentially be quite bad. Also, aren't people with the flu vaccines likely to be a little bit better off against the bird flu? In case the bird flu ever does develop, H5N1, ever does develop human-to-human transmission, there's enough of an overlap between the bird flu, like what it does to you, and what the regular flu does to you, that it's... I've heard that it protects you a bit. On Friday, a WHO advisory committee is scheduled to meet on which strain should be included in the next flu vaccines in the Northern Hemisphere. That meeting typically influences the FDA strain selection. But we are not communicating with the WHO anymore. Star News reported Monday that officials from both the FDA and the CDC would participate virtually in the WHO meeting forever. What? What is going on in this administration? It's insane. It's like, it's not just incompetence. It's like they do the bad thing, but then they walk it back, then they do it, then they walk it back. At first, it was a year to withdraw from the WHO, but then it was, we'll stop communicating immediately, but then they walk back on that, and now they're going to participate virtually. Just put the Chinese century in the bag, little bro. The canceled meeting in March is likely to add concerns among scientists that HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an anti-vaccine activist, could undermine the vaccine regulatory process in the U.S., possibly leading to a resurgence of preventable diseases. Oh, speaking of, I don't know if we caught this clip of the cabinet meeting before, but you know, we had our first measles death in a decade yesterday. Measles was considered eliminated from the United States some handful of years ago. But handfuls of years ago, whatever. In 2000? Was it 2000? But it's coming back in a big way, baby.
Bobby, do you want to speak on that?
We are following the measles epidemic every day. I think there's 124 people who have contracted measles at this point in Kings County, Texas. Mainly, we're told in the Mennonite community. There are 2 people who have died, but we're watching it, and there are about 20 people hospitalized, mainly for quarantine. We're watching it. We put out a post on it yesterday, and we're going to continue to follow it. Incidentally, there have been 4 measles outbreaks this year. In this country last year, there were 16. So it's not unusual. We have measles outbreaks every year.
So it's not unusual. So this is how it's going to happen. It's going to be like, this is not even remotely normal. But like as things ramp up, it's going to be like, what do you mean, liberal? It was always like this. It's normal for 10 to 20,000 people to die a year from measles. Actually, it's always been like that.
A little under the weather yourself right now.
I have a permanently bad throat.
Yeah, f you. It's gonna get worse, by the way. As anti-vaccine sentiments have grown more popular in response to all of the hysteria after the COVID pandemic, we are getting smaller and smaller percentages of kindergartners who are vaccinated. The recommended limit to prevent a pandemic is 95%. So for all the vaccine scheduling in the United States, ideally you want at minimum 95% of the kindergarten population, because of course some diseases are much more deadly to young people, and it depends. Okay, A record share of U.S. kindergartners had an exemption for required vaccinations last school year, leaving more than 125,000 new school children without coverage for at least one state-mandated vaccine. The Department of Health and Human Services has set a goal that at least 95% of children in kindergarten have gotten 2 doses of the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, the MMR vaccine, which you've probably heard a lot about. 92.7% coverage for kindergartners in the 2023 to 2024 school year. Rates for other state-mandated vaccinations, including diphtheria, tetanus, and acellular pertussis, known as DTaP, that's what I'm more familiar with, and polio, also declined. The vast majority were non-medical exemptions, of course. Not vaccinating your child should be considered child abuse, period. Yeah, of course, obviously, yeah. In a sane society, absolutely, 100%. Unless you have a specific medical exemption, it should be like, you should be subject to criminal, or at least, like liable to civil retaliation. This is symptomatic of civilizational collapse? Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, this is like an actual, it's gonna be over thing. Everything we thought we managed to bury in the 1940s is coming back, unfortunately. Because it turns out that you get all of it again if wealthy people are allowed to run society. Like, every bad thing we thought we did away with, it's just these are symptoms of a fundamentally unequal society that will reemerge in different forms if not properly treated. Not gonna lie, this feels intentional. Manufacturing crises, manufacturing conspiracism, these things benefit fascists. It doesn't matter whether or not it's technically good for their society. You think the Holocaust was like good for the GDP of Germany or whatever the fuck? Like they were doing it like someone in the back end was crunching the numbers on it and they were like, we'll actually be more effective and efficient if we did this? No, it took a huge amount of resources. Why'd they do it? They hated Jews. You think fascists operate rationally? With this, it's a broad distrust of science, the scientific processes, of technocracy, of expertise in general. Has nothing to do with rationality. Child vaccination rates for European countries over time, year slider on the right. I love data. You must be German. I see. Actually lower than I thought. I'm actually surprised to see that. It seems that if we're looking for the measles specifically, it seems like America actually outperformed a lot of these countries. Hungary up here in the top slot, weirdly. A lot of variance there. I don't really know much about the socioeconomics of this, like why it would be more or less, common there. Also, these are child vaccination rates under 1-year-old, whereas we were looking at kindergarten vaccination rates in the United States. So it's possible that if we were measuring by like 6 years old, which is when you start kindergarten, I think, more or less, these numbers would be higher across the board. And if we go back in time, back to 2000. Wait. Okay, never mind. I seem to be quite incorrect here, actually. If I go back to 2000, everyone's got the damn vaccine? It's gotten a lot worse then. Well, you guys, I'm vaccinated. Good night, y'all. Good night, y'all. Korea, Mexico, this isn't just Europe, yeah? What are you going to do about it, Cry? 1985. Looks like depending on what country you're talking about, in some of these countries it was worse back in, or sorry, it's worse today than it was in 85. Also, Hungary is consistently on top of their vaccinations. Pretty impressive. Like, on every level. What do they just, like, kill you if you don't get vaccinated? Soviet influence? Maybe, but there are other post-Soviet countries here. Do they lie about the numbers? They would have had to have been lying for decades, though. I mean, maybe. Either way. Either way. Only about a dozen states meet the federal target of 95% for measles vaccinations for kindergartners. Yay. It's only going to get worse. CDC investigating hospitalizations of 5 people who recently received the goddamn shungite vaccine. Chikungunya? I don't know what the hell that is. Measles case count in West Texas.
So many of the people who get infected with measles, who get sick and need to be hospitalized, are children. So we're here at Covenant Children's, and I want to give you an idea of how this works over here. Somebody pulls up, even before they go inside the hospital, they'll actually get evaluated in this shed out here. Okay. They want to determine if someone actually has measles. They need to be put into personal protective gear and then taken inside the hospital.
Someone's like blowing through a straw.
We've had over 15 patients admitted here in our children's hospital with measles over the past several weeks.
Dr. Laura Johnson is the chief medical officer here. How do you even begin to approach as a patient comes in? What do you do for them?
Most of the patients who've been admitted have had respiratory issues.
We put them in the box.
Needing supplemental oxygen and respiratory support to help them get over the viral pneumonia.
Don't we have a cure for measles? Yeah, we have a vaccine for it. You just take it when you're young, and then you never get measles. It's great.
With measles.
It's one thing to treat these patients on the ground, but the key in the middle of a measles outbreak is to try and prevent more cases from occurring. That's really challenging given how contagious this is. Sure. Appreciate it. Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. How's it going? That's the kind of the reaction we're getting.
Freezing weather.
You love that when you ask a doctor how it's going and they're like, it's fine, it's going fine, it's going fine, it's going fine.
And measles outbreaks.
Dr. Jennifer Schufert is the commissioner for the state health department. What do you think the next weeks and months is going to look like?
I think that we're going to continue to see cases.
I think I'm going to lose my shit, basically.
What the next few months look like, it kind of depends on how effective we are at getting messaging out about, making sure that people get vaccinated, that they stay at home if they're sick, and really trying to push that message through really trusted community leaders.
Can you imagine being an adult on the turn of the millennium? The Cold War is over. Science and technology are advancing at a rapid rate. Computers are entering the homes. The possibilities ahead look bright and vibrant. And then you blink and it's 2025. And the government is run by a retarded shadow president who spends 18 hours a day tweeting. And vaccination rates are plummeting.
You and I have been doctors for some time. I think me a bit longer than you. But
Fukuyama was proven right. People went to fascism because they were bored. I think there is some truth to that, but I also don't like the idea that it's just something people did. People were pushed into it by corporate interests. Like literally at every stage of this rightward shift in society, somewhere behind it, capital. Like literally at every point. And not believing in climate change, that was Fox News. That was daytime radio. All these people had financial ties to the fossil fuel industry. Like none of this just happens on its own. There is a bad guy. It's informed simplicity, and Russian disinformation. But the Russian disinformation is just capital over there, It's not the working class of Russia that are spreading misinformation over here. It's the same damn agents everywhere.
But have you ever seen measles before?
No, and I'm an infectious disease physician.
Wow.
I've never diagnosed a case.
That's incredible.
It's because, measles was declared eliminated from the United States back in the year 2000 because of the effectiveness of that vaccine.
Gotta uneliminate
and it's
it.
only now with falling immunization rates, not just here in Texas, but across the country and around the world, that we're starting to see more of these outbreaks.
Now, while most of the cases have been in a
God, it's just I love shots of American suburbia that are indistinguishable from like third world countries. Jesus Christ, look at this. Absolutely wretched. Texas is actually just a shithole. Oh, I know.
Now, while most of the cases...
Like, again, remember those German villages that we were looking at? Remember? How, like, you can have rural areas that still have, like, a tightly knit social fabric? Trust me, nobody's happy living here, okay?
...have been in a close-knit rural community, worry has started to spread. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
How you doing? Hey, I'm Sanjay.
Amy,
Nice to meet you. You too. How's it going?
All right, this is Owen.
Hey, Owen.
He has
Owen
measles.
was a micropreemie, so he spent the first 102 or 3 days in the hospital.
Jesus
And
Christ.
since then, with his weakened immune system and everything he went through, we just don't know how he would handle the measles.
Poorly.
Amy and Eric Gandy have lived in Lubbock for 20 years.
And the good thing about it is Riley really likes getting shots, so.
Now both their kids, 11-year-old Owen and 9-year-old Riley are vaccinated. But that's the thing about outbreaks. Low vaccination rates can put vulnerable people in danger.
I mean, I think it's time that everybody takes a look just at your political reasons or your religious reasons, and kind of think about that group of people and the new or the old information about vaccines, and really take a deep look into what it is that you really believe and why you really believe that.
You just set this up. When an outbreak's happening, you say...
Set it up this week.
Dr. Ron Cook is with the Lubbock Health Authority.
We've got plenty of vaccine, but we just need people to come get it.
It's literally like it's a miracle. It's genuinely unbelievable. It's one of the great plagues of humanity, and we eradicated it from this country. And all it takes is like a little sore spot in your arm twice when you're like a baby. We absolutely deserve to fail as a nation. I agree. No, I agree. I agree. Yeah. This is like the American has grown fat and arrogant, and only misery can be his teacher now. And I mean it. Like it is insane. Like if reason can't be your teacher, let suffering be. What are we supposed to do, man? We're literally like sleepwalking into oblivion. We're not sleepwalking into oblivion. We're earnestly marching towards it.
And are people coming in?
They did 13 yesterday. 23 yesterday.
23, okay. How would you describe what's going on here?
We have pockets that are not well vaccinated. But these individuals, like in Gaines County down there, that come to shop here.
COVID didn't teach people lessons, though. Well, the obviously a lot of things went wrong with regard to COVID, but in an ideal society, like COVID should have been the time the government was more Hitlerite than ever before. Like the government should have clamped the down. Like you know the Great Reset propaganda shit that far righters were really on about, that they like lost their minds over, and it was the World Economic Forum saying like, what if we use this as an opportunity to transform business relations? And then nothing happened and everything stayed the same after we got out of lockdown, except everything was already worse. You know, we should have been very Hitlerite about this. But keep in mind, a lot of the issue with lockdown was just the fact that a lot of Americans live in shit-ass nothing communities anyway. So you kind of like magnify that. But basically, our system is too fragile to survive everyone staying in for a while, which is really, really, really bad. You know, we need a system that's durable. We need a system with redundancies. We need a system that isn't so ruthlessly profit driven that it's possible for us to develop and rely upon less profitable modalities in times of crisis. It's a supply line thing, right? Capitalism is great at finding the most efficient way of achieving an outcome, and the outcome usually being maximizing shareholder value, you know? But then you have the evergreen dig itself into the trench on the side of the Suez Canal, and then everything is like, shut down, oh, that was our thing. Like every subsequent trade interaction following that was reliant upon the lowered cost of it going through the Suez Canal. Everything's backed up. And it's like, really? We really haven't developed a way to manage the global economy that doesn't rely on the Suez Canal? Like that literally can't, like that one piece, that one channel is enough to shut everything down? It's okay to have a high efficiency system, but you need redundancies, is my point.
We have Costco and Sam's and Walmarts, and they come here to do big shopping on the weekends, and they bring their kids and they walk through Costco, or they walk through these big shopping centers, and then they're exposing these people.
It's going to be so sad when we lose the post office to efficiency. Well, that's kind of like a perfect representation of what I'm talking about. Right-wingers say the post office is inefficient when it delivers to every single postal address in the United States. They say Amazon and UPS do it, or sorry, UPS and FedEx do it faster, but UPS and FedEx often rely on the postal service for their last minute or like final mile deliveries. They'll drop those packages off with the postal service. It's a service. It's efficiency. You can make every road more efficiently by like making it, you know, poorly. Who needs the railings? Who needs to have the subtle grade of the road when you take a turn so that you're not like, you know, flying off the road or whatever? You're not meant to do everything efficiently. Sometimes robustness is more important. Often when it comes to systems, it's more important. It's true, first mile, last mile has the most cost. Yeah, because that's when everything gets split up, you know? Prior to that point, a lot of the, you know, distribution of packages, it's like, okay, take a truck down to so-and-so. All right, sure, one truck, one road. It's when you get to the neighborhood, now all of a sudden you have to spend 5 hours dropping these packages off at every single door. I think same-day delivery is the devil. I agree. Yeah, I think so. I mean, honestly, like, past the point, I think that, like, online deliverables shouldn't even be a thing for a lot of stuff, you know? We have done so much to destroy brick and mortar businesses, and people are like, oh, well, it's more efficient to have, you know, to have stuff delivered. Yeah, but where do you think Amazon or whatever is delivering your groceries from? It's delivering them from a local grocery store that's more of a warehouse, you know? Where do you think they're getting this stuff from? They're sourcing it from all these local places. When you're getting this stuff delivered same day, it's because they have distribution centers. They've already got this stuff spread around. Like, at the end of the day, you're still a human being. Like, do you want to live your entire life in your house? Don't answer that, chat. I know what you're going to say. People go to brick and mortar shops to window shop and then buy online. Yeah. I want to put in a caveat for medical needs and pharmacy. Yeah, of course. I'm speaking very broadly about a very big system economically. But I think most people would agree that in terms of, like, human happiness, we get more from having a robust, functional local economy that can employ people, where you can get to know people nearby, where you can go out and go to beautiful places or whatever, then, like, you know, we'll break the entire global economy. Everyone will make minimum wage, but you'll get your same day, I don't know, ass wipes for your poop ass or something, whatever you want. Lots of stuff is not even available in brick and mortar shops, e.g. specific electronics or keyboards or PC parts. Well, that gets me into my belief that there's way too much economic diversity, that we should have fewer things, you know, in general available on the market. Like, it's probably not great that if you want something like a keyboard, you have literally thousands of options, of which most of them are cheap Chinese crap that'll break instantly, but people buy it anyway because they're, like, low knowledge consumers. And of the ones that are viable options, a lot of them are, like, different in microscopic ways. Like, there's a lot of, like, you know, I don't need there to be 50 different kinds of pretzels when I go to the grocery store. Because there are like downstream economic consequences to having that much diversity of product. It spreads the web too thin. That's going to be so hard to convince anyone of. Nah, you can do it easily. You know how? Just go to Trader Joe's, where Trader Joe's has, like, a few of any given type of item. People love that shit, you know? You go to, like, most grocery stores, and it's like, you don't need all these different or Aldi's, yeah, you don't need all these different, like, versions of the same thing. You just don't. Like, this is what I mean. Like, people make the joke about Americans being treatlers or whatever, but it's true. Like, Americans will sacrifice literally everything: their culture, their livability, the accessibility of local jobs that pay well, their happiness when they go out and shop, the beauty of their community, the robustness of their local economy, the resilience of an economy in times of, like, economic crisis. They'll sacrifice all of it to have, like, 3 different types of queso dip at the store rather than just one. You know, I know that sounds trite, like I'm making a joke, or like it doesn't work like that. It does, though, just on a bigger scale. It does work like that. I think you're getting the causality backwards. No. There's an economic incentive to engage in this diversification because they're doing it as a way to, like, hype up the company's, like, diverse real stock, because they're always chasing some new thing, some new high. And the reason they do that is because of the stock market, because they're not actually looking to make profits off of the sales they make. They're looking to increase the evaluated value of the company, which is the only way that the shareholders can make money, because they only get so many cutbacks from the revenue from the store. So you're looking for, like, constant growth, constant innovation. But man, I don't need you to innovate on tortilla chips. I'm sorry. You don't need to innovate on tortilla chips. I don't need you to innovate on this shit. I'm sorry. If I want a different kind of tortilla chip, you can make tortilla chips at home. Why not just get rid of stock trading? Have you watched my streams? Everything has to change. Everything has to shift. No. Move fast, break things. No. They're tortilla chips. The brand No Name is super successful specifically because it sells the food product with no bells or whistles. That's just how they market themselves. I think people want that. People get, like, you know, people do get choice paralysis.